Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just going over to Bitcoin. Big up the CoinsKid crew. Thank you for support. Okay, thank you for following me on Twitter and liking the videos as well. And thank you for subscription and tuning in on a daily basis. And equally, thank you for all the really positive and nice, warm comments that I receive on a daily basis as well. Okay, thank you. So right now, Bitcoin is doing really, really well in my opinion. I think you are confirming the bull market. We are above key EMAs and levels of resistance. That above we've took them out and we're currently holding them as support. So one of the major indicators that I like to use here is the CBBI. It's currently sitting at 31, and when we was all the way down here at 2 and the level in the CBBI there was dark green, like I said to you at the time, I was relaying to you that is an opportunity, although it doesn't feel like it, and so far so good. Okay, so I think in time, this is theory based, absolutely theory based, nothing to say is financial advice, but we should in theory just be buying Bitcoin, okay, until it gets dark red on this particular indicator. It really is that simple. Ignore the moves, ignore the sort of micro ups and downs and things like that. In a bull market, once you found your bottom, dips are for buying and not necessarily for crying, okay? And we should just be accumulating Bitcoin and looking to get rid of it the minute this sentiment turns sort of darkish red, okay? Really is that simple if we want to respect this data, okay, and not emotion. So I remember at the time when we was all the way down there and I was saying to you, look, a golden opportunity to dark green in the CBBI, all the reply guys, all the macro, people like that, there was like no way and all that. But like I said to you, Bitcoin goes against the herd mentality, doesn't it? Just like Kia, we were getting really, really sort of overbought and bearish divergences, and everyone was saying we're going to go to the moon, but the analysis and the data was saying we had a massive rising wedge with bearish divergence and we were coming down, and we did, and it was a beautiful trade for the CoinsKid crew. Came all the way down to around about 28k, which was target, and then it bounced again. But you can clearly see here there's a divergence between the all-time high that Bitcoin put in November of 2021 and the CBBI. So there's a massive divergence in the sense that we've got a higher high in the price action, and even in the RSI and the CBBI we're putting a lower high. So it's a massive divergence, okay? In my opinion, I think that this has been a massive irregular A, B, C wave correction that's bottom just there, and right now we're seeing the sort of fifth wave here, a massive fifth wave missing of this particular cycle. And again, nothing I say is financial advice, but if Bitcoin does start to take off here and it really does start to melt through all the resistance above and it really does begin to go up, okay, and it sort of retraces and takes out the high, I will be looking at the CBBI, and I think the minute we start to sort of flash red, for me, I'll be looking to exit Bitcoin, so I've got my theories on where I do think Bitcoin will go if we do get this melt up this year as well, which were completely unexpected by everybody in the space because they're just paying attention to the halving and things like that. But if we do start to get this melt up, which in theory is looking likely, then I'll be looking at CBBI to sort of confluence to taking profit at any sort of level up there. So in theory, regardless if we have a melt up this year or we go through the normal cycle where sort of 2 to 3 years after the bottom we look at a big blow up top for Bitcoin, we should just be buying Bitcoin on any pullbacks. Like I said to you, regardless of the waves up and down, regardless of this pullback or whatever, we should just be accumulating Bitcoin, because you can clearly see whenever it goes dark green, you shouldn't really be selling until you go dark red, or sort of tingy red just there. So any pullbacks and anything above the dark green zone, is just an opportunity, isn't it? So here, buying, and then sell just there. Just there, any pullbacks, oh no, it's going to zero, but you should just be buying it until it goes dark red. It really is that simple. Although at the time the pullbacks and things like that, it feels like it's going to go on forever, but Bitcoin has a habit of just going against what everybody thinks. So far so good. Respecting the data, not emotion, we should be looking at a massive impulsive move here, and any corrections and pullbacks are just opportunity, and that's the mindset you need to have until we start to get really overbought. Everyone thinks that we're going to like $1 million and things like that, and then that's where you should be exiting the market, okay, especially when you're creating bearish divergences as well. So let's dive into the Bitcoin chart right now, okay, and see what we can see. So looking at Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, the red line is the arch of death and the green line is the arch of life. So you can clearly see at the moment, every time we come down to this arch of life, this sort of dotted green line, Bitcoin comes back to life, doesn't it? It's not bullshit, it's not opium. Every time it comes back down here, it comes back to life basically. And then usually what we do start to see it do, it comes up, and the next level of resistance really in theory is where you should be exiting Bitcoin, like I've shown you in the CBBI, is when it gets a kiss of death again. So basically you've got the kiss of death, kiss of life, kiss of death, kiss of life, kiss of death, kiss of life, kiss of death, kiss of life. Really, as it's simple. So in theory, we should just respect this and say, okay, well, we're looking for the next data point, the kiss of death, when we get up here. So I'll keep you updated on this chart as best as I can. But equally, as confluence to this is the RSI. So on the monthly RSI, you know, we've got this sort of trend line, haven't we? The sort of trend line of death, and then we've got the trend line of life. That every time Bitcoin comes down to it, it comes back to life. So in theory, coupled with this arches of life and death, we should just be expecting Bitcoin to retrace all the way up to the death line, basically, before we exit Bitcoin. So again, there's no guarantees, but if we start to turn a corner here and we start to roll and we lose the arch of life just there, and we start to lose that as support, then that's really, really bearish, isn't it? You know, and we'll think about positioning crypto at the time, but if we start to come up and take out the kiss of death and we break out, then Bitcoin could actually enter a new cycle. But one thing's for sure here for Bitcoin on the monthly time frame, we really are compressing. We're compressing here. Something's going to give. We will see a massive change of direction for Bitcoin, whether or not it's a change to the upside or a change to the downside. And one of those indications could be once we take out this resistance or lose this support, or equally breaking this resistance in the RSI or losing this support in the RSI. It really is that simple, okay? So that's a macro view for Bitcoin. I gave you some setups yesterday, but Bitcoin at the minute is struggling to take out that level high at the moment. So, you know, a correction would not be off the table for me. I wish everyone the utmost luck. Take care, everyone. Back soon with another update on Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye bye.